Ted Salud at Debbie Lopez. Alas 2 ng hapon, ito ang inyong Tita Meti ni Meti Pacson. Alas 5 ng hapon, Pinoy Scientist ni Custer Jocaris. Susundan ang country music kasama si Denver Garcia ng alas 6 ng gabi. Alas 7, Checkpoint ni na Erlo Bringas at Vin Pascua at religious programs ng alas 9. Pagsapit ng alas 10 ng gabi, si Peps Guerrero para sa Eagle Night Watch, programang weekend sa DZEC 1062 Radyo Agila.
Ayan na, nako. Sumapit muli ang takdang oras ng ating programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika. Ako po si Don Orozco mula rito sa Silicon Valley sa California. At today, what we have is a special guest. Special guest, the reason why I say special guest is because she is not Filipina. But she is married to a Filipino. Ayun, di ba? Kaya medyo mapapa-English po tayo, Jonas. Kaya yan ang ating programa ngayon. But for those who have just tuned in, let me tell you to come and join us through our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Radio Agila 1062. And for those that are wanting to listen via radio, it is Radio Agila 1062. Yan po ay 1062 sa inyong talapihitan. Ayun. Kaya nahihirapan na akong magtagalog, Jonas. No? Kasi English nga yung ating mapapasabak tayo sa English. Anyway, I will probably won't prolong the intro. Let me just go directly. Today po, I am honored to present to you Miss Lexi Panaligan. She is a BSNRN here in California. So let us all welcome Lexi. Good evening to all of us, and it's good afternoon in the Philippines.
Yes, good evening, Don. Thank you so much for having me on this evening. Hello, viewers from California all the way to the Philippines. Hello, my name's Lexi Panaligan. I'm a nurse. I live here in California in the Central Valley. I'm married to a Filipino. Don, would you like me to tell our story a little bit about how we met?
Absolutely, but normally when we open the show, because Filipinos, they have this American dream, right? They have this American dream, which means going to the US. But yours is different. You captured a heart of a Filipino. Is that correct? Yeah, yeah.
I did.
So, so, and that is the reason why I am now sitting in front of you to discuss and know anything about you, no? Because again, a lot of the Filipino folks that you actually know are also in the healthcare industry, and you know that
Absolutely.
very well because I assume you do work with a lot of like Filipinos. Uh, I just wondering, what sort of hospital are you? To what hospital are you working at?
Absolutely. I actually work clinic setting. I work in Modesto, California. I work in urgent care.
Okay, in urgent care.
Yes,
Okay, and just to give our folks an idea, what's the difference? Because you know, there are those who actually are labor and delivery nurses. There are emergency room nurses, but yours is a urgent care. And
absolutely.
so, what does an urgent care nurse do?
Absolutely. That's a good question, Don. I'll tell you a little bit of the difference. So I actually started my career, this August will be 4 years that I've been a registered nurse. I started my career in the emergency room, right? And so I spent a year there working with patients, all sorts of emergencies, right? And then I moved to urgent care. This will be 3 years that I've been working outpatient now. And so the big difference, right, is they're a lot less sick than if they were to go to the ER. So if they have strep throat, right, any sort of urinary issues, anything that's non life threatening, those are the types of symptoms that we see. So it's a same day clinic, right? So they come
Uh,
in, they get seen, we do very basic testing, and then they go home and prescriptions get sent to the pharmacy.
okay, so in other words, you do not have any. Uh, Everything is kind of outpatient.
Correct. I work outpatient clinic setting now. Ambulatory care is the term that we call it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. So, how long have you been a nurse?
This August will be 4 years that I've been working as a nurse, so I'm still getting
Okay,
my feet wet. Yeah.
okay, 4 years as a nurse, and you know, being a nurse is very challenging, especially during the COVID days. Remember, right? And I
Very
believe
much.
you were at the tail end of COVID when when you became a nurse.
Correct. Actually, over half of my nursing schooling was done via Zoom. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm a COVID nurse, as we call it here in the healthcare field. So I was a COVID graduate. My in-person lectures were moved to online, and so I had a very different type of learning environment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful that my program was still able to keep the in-person clinicals,
Mm-hmm.
but our lectures were virtual, which was very difficult, especially for someone like me who's more extroverted face to face.
Uh-huh. You
And so that
know,
was hard.
you know, what is even hard also is getting into the getting into nursing, right? Because a lot of, especially here in California, a lot of our folks are actually wanting to be nurses. That is why some of them are even moving to a different state. Some are even going outside the U.S. just to make sure that they end up being BSN, which is Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Is that correct?
Correct. I have my bachelor's in nursing.
Uh-huh. And because alam po ninyo, dito sa Philippines, sa Amerika, I mean, uh, there are two kinds of nurses. There is this a 2 year course na nurse, and there is a 4 year course nurse. What we have, what Lexi has, is a 4 year course, which makes her a bachelor degree holder. Is that correct, Lexi?
Correct, Don.
Now, what were the challenges during the time of schooling? Was what would be the most tough one? Especially it's Zoom, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Learning virtually was very, very difficult. I would say that's one of the biggest challenges, at least for me personally, because I learn better in person, and so that was very difficult. My program in general is very difficult. Bachelor programs are much harder. They're paper heavy. They focus a lot on nursing leadership classes like that. And so yeah, I went to a Cal State program here in California, and although they are a little bit more affordable, they are much more difficult to get into, and the program is much
Uh-huh.
harder.
And that is what I was talking about, the program.
Yes.
The nursing program, it is really a tough thing to get into, right?
Yes, it was especially difficult because I'm actually not from the Northern California area. I've
Okay.
only lived in the Central Valley for about 7 years. I'm from Southern California,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and so
Well,
moving up here was harder. Was harder to get in, but I'm very grateful, very blessed that I was able to get in.
maybe you have this.
I try. I try my hardest. I try my
uh,
hardest.
you have this, and then plus you have this. That's the advantage.
I try my
Anyway,
best.
anyway, maybe it will also be great to be discussing about your love life, right?
Absolutely. It's
after
something.
all, after all, that is the very reason why we ended up having to interview you, because uh, when two people with two different ethnic background get together, sometimes there's like a lot of like challenges, there's a lot of like questions that's going on. But based on our phone conversation earlier, you are living a fabulous life, right?
Thank
So,
you. I feel very
so,
blessed.
so Lexi, to begin with, how did you end up meeting, knowing your husband?
Yes, and this is a great segue from our prior conversation, Don. And so again, I moved up here this August will be 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Southern California. I got into my program, Cal State University Stanislaus in Turlock, California, and I moved up here on August 15th of 2019. The very next day, there was a boot camp, so basically an orientation for our new student orientation for the new nurses. And that very next day after moving up here is when I met my husband, Jasper. So
Wow,
he,
that's his name,
yes,
right? Jasper.
Jasper is his
So
name.
he is
Correct.
also a nurse.
He is. He's a nurse as
Okay.
well. He's a nurse as well. And so we met one day after I moved up here, which is one of the right. It's the greatest blessing to this day.
Uh-huh.
And he was actually finishing out the nursing program. So he graduated end of 2019 when I was just beginning in August of 2019. And
Okay.
so he's been a nurse a little bit longer than me, and so we were friends throughout that whole first semester, right? And so we met and we were talking about nursing, and then in the beginning of 2020, right before COVID hit, is when we went on our first date, Valentine's Day actually, of
Okay.
2020, which is
Mhm.
his brother's birthday as well. And
So that's
so
upcoming. That would be next week.
yes, that'll be 6 years since our first date. It's actually his brother's birthday as well, which is great.
Okay.
And so yeah, so we got to meet and connect, and we found how much that we have in common. We both love hiking, we both love outdoors, and we both have a relationship with God. And so right, and so I actually wasn't raised Catholic. I wasn't baptized as a kid. But he opened up, right, the religion of Catholicism and how important that is to the Filipino culture. I was welcomed into his family very early on, very big family. He has a total of 7 siblings on his dad's side and 9 siblings on his mom's side. So very large Filipino family. I knew nothing about the Filipino culture before we met, but I've always been one to welcome in culture and different cultures and languages, and um, yeah, and so ever since then, I've really welcomed and embraced the Filipino culture. We got married in the church in Sacramento, California, in a cathedral. Um, we got engaged the day before my birthday in San Francisco on a helicopter ride, December
Okay.
4th of 2021. We both graduated nursing school. We own our home here in the Central Valley now, and we had our kiddo who's going to be 2 next week. So we have a little Philam boy as well.
Okay. Wow. You already know the term Philam, huh?
I do. I speak a little bit of Tagalog. I can cook quite a bit of Filipino food, which I'm very proud of.
Okay.
I cook sinigang. We go to the Asian store all the time. Um,
Who taught you how to cook Filipino?
my mother-in-law and my
Oh,
husband. My husband's a great cook too.
okay. Uh-huh. That's a great experience. And of course, you actually have one of the best dishes which you learned, sinigang. What is your special?
Yes.
There's a lot of like sinigang. Sinigang na baboy, sinigang sa bayabas. There's a lot of things. What, any particular sinigang?
Salmon sinigang is my favorite to make.
Okay.
Salmon
Someone
sinigang is my
yeah.
husband's favorite. Yes,
Uh,
and sometimes I make pork belly sinigang as well.
mm-hmm. Well, once you have a taste of that the soup, right? You will really fall in love with the Filipino dishes.
And I have, and that's a big thing too. Is we really want to raise our son to embrace as much of the Filipino culture as we can. You know, here in the
Uh-huh.
United States, it's much
Mm-hmm.
more difficult, and you really have to take more of that effort to have your child be bilingual because English is the primary language. But it's
Uh-huh.
something that's really important to us to preserve for our son, and so we teach him all the classic kid songs, the haiku bo, and all the classic songs and foods, and over half of his diet is Filipino food here. So
Uh-huh.
we're very proud of that.
So I am looking at Lexi, who looks like white, but her tummy is Filipino.
It very much is.
There's a lot of like white people here as well in San Jose who are married to Filipinos, Filipinas, and they are really white, but their tummy are all Filipino.
Yes, I
Mhm.
know
Well,
Filipino food is great.
and I am sure, you know the journey that he has been into, right? Uh, there is what you call an American dream for us Filipinos,
Yes,
to really go and visit not just visit the U.S., but actually to stay here, to work here, and have more opportunities. Do you know any the immigration story of your husband?
yes, yes. And so the story of my husband's family, and so the process for him to move to the U.S. actually was initiated and started from the day he was born.
Uh-huh.
My husband's from a province in the Philippines. He's from Isabela. He's Ilocano. And so the process was started when he was born. His grandpa was in the Vietnam War. So he actually, you know, was in the United States a long time before he was. But again, the process for his siblings, my husband's the oldest, and then he's got a sister who's the middle, and the brother who's the youngest. And the process was started again from the day he was born. And it actually took 20 years. And so my husband moved to the United States with his mom and his two siblings in 2010. And they moved here to Manteca, California. And so they've been here. This will be 16 years. His dad wasn't able to come yet, and so he came 2 years later in 2012. And you know that's absolutely an American dream. I think that's a great point there, Don. For his family, you know, having such a big family on both his mom and his dad's side, he's had some, you know, family on both sides that have lived here in the United States before he came here.
Uh-huh.
And so his aunt, his dad's sister was here, and they welcomed him in. And that's kind of been the story with his family, right? Is every time family is able to immigrate here, the family that is here in the United States, they welcome them in, right, into their home. You get settled, you get all your your documents settled, and you find a job, and we'll help support you until you can buy your own home. And that's really been the big story of his family. He's grateful that there's been a lot of family that's been able to immigrate here, and it's not something that, you know, they take for granted. It's absolutely a blessing, and we know times are very hard these days, which, a lot harder to come here to the United States than it used to be. And so, right. And so he feels very blessed, that he's able to be here with his family.
And it's not just really traveling here, it's actually the opportunity has become thinner, but still, it is still the land of milk and honey. Right, Lexi?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Opportunity is definitely here. The big thing, right, is, right, praying to God, relying on God, but also applying yourself. If you
Mm-hmm.
apply yourself here in the United States, the opportunities are endless, right? Having an
Uh-huh.
education and seeking that education, and then once you have that degree, really, right, you put yourself out there, and that's really what him and his family have been blessed to be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. And uh, I'm just wondering, have you had the opportunity to travel to the Philippines?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that. And
Okay.
so we were very blessed enough to go for a month. Last
Really?
December, so not this
This
past
December?
December. Last one, so
Okay.
December of 2024.
Okay. Just to give you briefly, an idea, and you've experienced that. Christmas is the best celebration of, the Christmas holidays is actually in the Philippines. That's what people say.
Yes, it was such an incredible experience. Yeah, so we were there a month. We spent the majority of the time in my husband's hometown, which is Jones, Isabela. Very, very small town in the Philippines. So small
Uh-huh.
that everybody knows everyone's name. Very, very small town. My in-laws built a house there recently. It'll be their retirement house. They live here. And so we also had our son's baptism when we were there too, at the church in
Okay.
my husband's hometown.
Mm.
Yes,
Were
and
you able
so
to go to like places like Makati or BGC during the holidays?
we went to BGC, and we were
Mhm.
also able to go to Boracay for a few days as well.
Wow. Okay. So
It was beautiful.
you got it covered.
We
I,
did, and we had a 10-month-old baby too, and so that was a pretty big trip for all of us. But it was a blessing, and definitely something that we're very grateful to have been able to do.
Mhm. A lot of people actually are looking forward to spend the holidays here in the Philippines. But one bad side of around that time is it's too pricey, especially the airfare, right?
It was, and we flew Philippine Airlines. It was something that we definitely had the budget for, and plan a long time ahead. It was pricey. Yeah,
Uh, and are you looking forward to travel again there?
absolutely, absolutely. Hopefully we have a big trip this year to Japan actually, but hopefully next year we can go to the Philippines.
Okay. And uh, talking about your trip in the Philippines, what do you think would be the most memorable part of it?
Man, we had so many. It was a great trip. Let's see here. The most memorable part. Hmm. So many great times. I'd have to pick a few. Um, the Boracay the Boracay trip was beautiful. The beaches on Boracay is like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the white sand and the water, and fresh tahol, and the experience there was incredible. We did the underwater sea diving, which was a really great experience. But our son's baptism was really big too.
Mm-hmm.
That was very memorable, especially because it was in the church in that very small town that my husband came from, the church that he grew up going to school at, and so that was very memorable for us as well.
I'm sorry. What particular part of Manila was that again? In Isabela?
Yeah, so it's in the northeast part of the Philippines. Isabela is the province,
Mm-hmm.
all the way north. So we fly from Manila to Cauayan City,
Uh-huh.
um, and then it's another a little over an hour drive down south. And so
Uh-huh.
it's a good drive, or a good way.
Did the whole family join in the travel back to the Philippines? How many were
Most
you?
of us.
So
There was
it's
a lot
just
of us.
you,
Yeah.
your husband, and your child, right? Was there
Yes.
anyone else who joined you on the trip?
So we flew. Our flight was just by ourselves, but my in-laws came, my sister-in-law, and her boyfriend came. My brother-in-law came. Quite a few aunts and uncles and cousins came, and so it was a lot of us who lived, within 15-minute distance in our area here in Central California. A lot of us did go home, and that was very special as well.
Okay. Well, what about your immediate family? Has any one of you joined in that trip?
For my
Any of
family,
your
no,
siblings or your parents?
no, none of my parents or my siblings joined on that trip. Yeah,
Okay.
they live down in Southern California.
Okay. But you probably told them about your experience in the Philippines and what was their reaction sharing those
Yes,
pictures as well?
they're amazed. They're absolutely amazed. They've also welcomed in the Filipino culture. I've been very proud that I've been able to teach them a lot, right? Both with the
Uh-huh.
language, how we do Filipino parties, right? We do family, we do food, and we do karaoke, and we laugh, right? And that type of culture, and
Uh-huh.
they enjoy it. Yeah, they enjoy it.
Uh-huh. Is your husband a singer too? Does he sing?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
We both do actually. It's
Oh,
something that we
really?
both.
Uh,
Yes, so we have
yeah,
a karaoke machine here.
you should have told me that, but and I would have asked you to render us a song, but we'll do it for another day.
I know I could have prepared one of my favorite songs that I sing in Tagalog too, but next
Oh,
time.
really? Are you able to sing Tagalog? What sort of Tagalog song do you sing?
I sing a few, nothing too big, but one of the songs that I really love to sing at Filipino parties is actually a song that my husband taught me. He grew up with this band in the Philippines when he was in high school. The song name is Narda by Kamikaze,
Okay.
and it's one of my favorites.
Uh-huh. Can you give us a sample of just to give us a tune of that?
Oh goodness. Um, uh, let's do the chorus. Oh man, on the spot here.
That's how it is, you know.
That's
Uh-huh.
how it is. Okay. Awit na 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 nawagan. Dun, 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 dun. I need my lyrics. There we
We,
go.
you can actually be adopted as a Filipina already.
You know, some of the family calls me an inside out coconut, right? Because I'm
Uh-huh.
white on the outside, but I'm brown on the inside.
But to be honest with you, when I first saw your picture, I thought you were a mistisang Filipina. You know, it never crossed my mind that you were white. But especially the person who introduced me to you is Erlene. Well, she's also beautiful, you know. And I was
It
just
is.
thinking, you are a family of beautiful people.
Thank you. Salamat po. Yes, I mean, my husband's family is beautiful, right? I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think Filipinos, right? Beautiful people, beautiful language, beautiful culture, beautiful food. But yeah, I mean, thank you.
The hospitality is something that we are proud of, you know. Really, come in and knock to a neighbor's place or a total stranger, and they will welcome you, right? The
Absolutely.
Philippines is such a welcoming country, and the advantage, of course, is everyone speaks the English language, right?
They do. They do. That was I knew that they did. My husband grew up in the Philippines and he told me he learned English in school, but going there I was pleasantly surprised, because I speak a little bit of Tagalog, but I'm not fluent. And
Uh-huh.
so I was genuinely surprised how well their English speaking skills are, and I'm very
Mhm.
impressed.
That's why
Yes.
people are so surprised to hear from me that the newspapers, and practically everything is in English, including the medium of instruction in the school, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
That's why it is really easy to assimilate yourself into the Filipino culture.
It is. It really
Uh-huh.
is. My husband's family has welcomed me since day one. They're very warm. They're very loving. Open arms. And it's been a blessing. It's been a great blessing to be able to open up and hear more about a culture that I wasn't born into.
Uh-huh.
That's the and to hear right another sort of perspective in language and kind of a different way of living. It's an eye-opening experience and definitely one that I'm very grateful for.
You know, one other reason, Lexi, not just you being married to a Filipino, but one other reason is your advocacy. That is actually, that should actually be the main meat of our conversation. So we actually have, a lot of people are surprised. 1 hour of interview. What will I be saying? If you'll notice, we already have half an hour of conversation. So we
Yes.
will go to our second half, but let us just go into a commercial break first. Sandali po lamang at magpapakilala lang po ang ating himpilan. Magbabalik po ang Radyo Agila sa Amerika.
Five decades of excellence in broadcast communication. EBC, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Ito ang Radyo Agila. DCEC 1062 sa Mega Manila, DWIN 1080 sa Northern Luzon, DZEL 1260 sa Southern Taga, DYFX 1305 sa Visayas, at DXED 1224 sa Southern Mindanao. Ito ang Radyo Agila. Mabilis, malakas, pumapagaspas.
Hanap mo ba ay latest gadget? O trivia tungkol sa pinakabagong teknolohiya? Gizmos, doodads, iPhone 6 at Galaxy Grand Max? Ano ba ang pinakaunang electronic gadget? Mula sa mga wired telephones hanggang sa telescopes na ginagamit noon ng NASA. Alamin din natin ang wastong pag-iingat at paggamit ng ating mga gadgets. Makinig sa programang Tech Talk.
Nagbabalik po ang ating programang Radyo Agila sa Amerika. Ayan, nako. At syempre pa, kasama po natin, ang napakaganda, very beautiful. Ah, ah, Miss Lexi Panaligan. Siya po ay isang BSN at RN. Medyo Inglisan ang ating salitaan po ngayon simply because Lexi is actually full-blown Americana. No po? Married to a Filipino. Anyway, medyo pumasok yung conversation dun sa Facebook, po. But anyway, let's go back to the discussion, before we go into break, now we actually talk about a lot of things, Lexi, with regards to family, with regards to your work. Now let's go and talk about your advocacy. And before anything else, siguro it would be best if you could, in the event that people would like to reach out to you, what would be the best thing to reach out to you? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have an IG? Can you just mention first your handles?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Don. I can absolutely share my Facebook page, Lexi Peneligan, exactly like it's listed on the show today.
Okay,
You can search up my name on Instagram as well. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I can even pass along my email as well if you would be interested in reaching out with any
absolutely,
questions.
yeah. hmm What's your email address?
Sure. It's going to be Lexy, and then
Okay,
M is in Mary, L as in Lima, ER @gmail.com.
can you say that again? Because a lot of people actually does email, communicate via email. So can you repeat that, your email address, Lexi?
Of course. It's going to be Lexy, M is in Mary, EHLER @gmail.com.
Thank you. And let's go into discussing the real thing. Okay. When I say the real thing, the important thing is your advocacy, which actually is one of the reasons why I was so interested when Erlyn, your tita, Erlyn Baring, was telling me about your advocacy. So I said, can I interview her today, tonight? And,
Yes.
with God blessings, here you are. We are together on this interview. So, Lexi, can you tell me about your advocacy work in the community and why is it so important to you? I know this is very much related to you being a nurse. Lexi?
Yes, absolutely. I'll go ahead and backtrack a little bit. Community service has always been important to me. It's something that I grew up doing in my family. Giving back on the Thanksgiving holiday with homeless shelters, volunteer opportunities in the community. And this was before I even know that I wanted to become a nurse. Fast forward to nursing school, COVID times, right? But I was elected to be president of the Student Nurses Association. And so one of my roles as president was to reach out to different members in the community to have them come and speak to us, as well as to help organize different events such as CPR classes. We call it Stop the Bleed when someone's bleeding, all the skills that it takes to stop a traumatic bleed, those types of things, to get speakers in that, of all different backgrounds, flight nurses and all sorts of things like that. And so I did a lot of work in nursing school, and one of the most memorable times of giving back to my community was actually a homeless shelter. And so we went to a homeless shelter, we cooked a big meal, we brought a bunch of supplies for them. And that's really the memory that stuck with me. Fast forward to becoming a nurse, right? That first year I was just learning how to be a nurse. But ever since coming back from maternity leave about a year and a half ago, that's when I really had more time in my career to fulfill that passion of advocacy. And what does that term really mean, right? Well, advocacy is two different things, right? And so I can advocate for my patients in my clinic, which is one of my most favorite parts of my job, other than
Uh-huh.
education, which I'll get into a little bit later. That means really listening to the patient, right? And listening to whatever wishes that they want for their life and doing whatever it takes to work as a team to get that to happen. But advocating in the community is really looking at your community that you live in and where are there gaps? What's missing, right? And what can I do to help fulfill that? And that's what you can kind of see from some photos here listed, right? And so some people in our community, right? Times are tough, right? There's not enough money for food and resources and things like that. And so one of my favorite forms of advocacy in the community is working with different organizations to have, we call it a mobile farmers market. They come, they don't have to pay anything. They get grocery bags and they get all the fruits and vegetables that they may need. right?
Uh-huh. You
And
know
so
what's
that's
impressive? What's impressive with you, Lexi, is actually you actually package yourself on a direction where you can actually end up helping out others. As a matter of fact, I'm actually just trying to get into the experiences that you have, and I see that you have a lot of like volunteer work.
thank you.
You know, goes way back to 2019 when you actually do a lot of like homeless event. And then you have this, I'm just wondering what is an SNA, what's SNA stands for?
Yes, that will go back to the conversation a little bit ago when I mentioned that I was president during my nursing school program. It's the student body organization. It stands for Student Nurse Association,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and
And
so
you
that
and I know and I applaud you being a former president and really you are into it by leading your schoolmates into like work that is actually humanitarian and really is into the healthcare. Uh, what was this outreach program that you did in November of 2019, 2020? I believe it is reaching out to high school students. That is
yes,
very
yes.
important, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, Don. I remember that pretty well as well. That memory really stuck with me. I went out to high school students, and being pretty new in my nursing program, but I was able to go out to nursing students, teach them about what our bachelor's program entails, encourage them to pursue their dreams and pursue their passions. Don't let fear get in your way, right? Work your hardest, and if you pray and you work your hardest and you apply yourself, this will be a goal that you could obtain.
Uh-huh. Exactly, exactly. And I believe one of the things that you work with Satter Health, right? And I
I
think
do.
that is one of the things that qualify you most is because of the volunteer and the experience that you actually put into the community. And even in your work, Satter Health, you've also done a lot of like volunteer work. Why is it that you make yourself available into such volunteer work?
Yeah, that's a great question, Don. I think one of the most impactful things about applying yourself and giving back to your community is you really feel connected to your patients. You meet your
Uh-huh.
patients here in the community. They go to these community events, and I feel like one of the biggest purposes for me about why I do so much work in the community and community service is it really draws my purpose back to why I do what I do as a nurse, right? It really has that rewarding feeling. And during times, right, where there's a lot of nursing burnout, that's a term that we call it, right? A lot of exhaustion. Doing these types of activities really helps to redefine why we got into this field in the first place, and it really is to give back, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
really here for our patients, right? We're here
Exactly.
to put them first. And so that's one of the big reasons why I really enjoy doing community service is that you get that internal gratification of giving back to those that the communities that you serve, right?
Uh-huh. Hmm. You know, one other thing that I've noticed is that your line of work actually has transitioned from one position to another. Like you do have an experience in ICU, and it's a tough nut to crack because again, those are just the sight alone of being inside an ICU unit is something really tough. But I was just wondering, why did you actually end up preferring urgent care than and the reason why I'm asking this is because I know ICU nurses are paid more, right?
A little bit. It's actually pretty comparable, which is great. It's
Uh-huh.
it's it's almost the same with my job now, which I'm very grateful for. So I was a student nurse extern in the ICU during my nursing school program. So it was a paid position, but it was a student position, and when I first wanted to become a nurse, I wanted to be an ICU nurse. But my experience was in the COVID ICU, and so
Mhm.
every single one of my patients was during the pandemic on a ventilator with a breathing tube, with a very low chance of surviving, and that was really difficult for me to see. And I really took the time to evaluate if this was something that I really wanted to get into. But I really, I knew I was an adrenaline junkie. Same as my husband, he's an emergency room nurse as well. Um, and so that was something I was really interested in. And, I was an ER nurse for a year. Why did I leave the ER? Well, I was working night shift and that just didn't work well for me. I'm an early
Okay.
riser, early to bed.
Uh,
And I was also pregnant with my son. And so working overnight was very hard. And that's when I moved to outpatient, day shift nursing, as we call it, working during the day. And I have a much better work-life balance. I can come home, put my son to sleep, spend time with my husband at night, and it's a much better balance for my life.
well said, Lexi. And again, one of the things that I admire to you about is your involvement in volunteer work. As a matter of fact, in April of 2025, you were a part of the Love Modesto Stanislaus County, wherein you actually did some volunteer and offer donations to a local nonprofit organization. And I believe you are actually involved in such kind of work right now. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's the Love Modesto event was very important and very special to me last year, where my supervisors and I got together and we gave back to a local organization. But giving back to an organization is definitely something that I'm big into currently.
Mm-hmm. And again, you will not go wrong, especially when you are a part of a community. Like myself, I am very much involved to the Asian American community here in the Silicon Valley. And again, it is always really good to connect with people, especially if it is something that what is this connected to the kind of career that you have. It's healthcare. Now, there is this, what's this, the related to heart. I think you may want to expound on that because I think that is an advocacy that you really wanted to promote. Right, Lexi?
Absolutely.
Can you expound on
Absolutely.
that?
Yes, I'd love to tell you and love to tell all the viewers about this incredible opportunity that I'm a part of. So again, I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse with Sutter Health and Sutter Gold Medical Foundation. And today actually is National Wear Red Day, and what it represents is representing heart disease. But the message as well for today is today's the very first day that I'm launching my 9-week campaign with the American Heart Association for the Women of Impact campaign. I'm one of 22 nominees in the Central Valley area, which is a huge honor, a huge blessing. I was nominated by the Senior Development Director with the American Heart Association. It's one of the largest organizations in the world. They take in a large amount of money that funds critical studies to combat cardiovascular and stroke disease. Um, Cardiovascular disease and stroke is the #1 killer of women, and 1 in 3 women do die from these diseases. And so it's very important that we work together as a team, however small or big, which the bigger the team, the better. That way we can raise awareness, provide education, teach CPR classes. And so again, it's a 9-week campaign. Most of my total score comes from fundraising. I'm welcoming in as much donation as possible that goes towards my campaign. I can pass along the link to my homepage. It officially went live at 9 a.m. Pacific time this morning. But the other part of my score comes from those who are interested in going to my homepage and they sign up as one of my team members and they complete these super easy weekly activities, and that helps to boost my points. And winning this competition would be huge for me. one of the big reasons I would be recognized nationally, so in the United States. But the big thing is that anyone across the world can donate money towards my campaign, and they can also sign up as team members. So from California, United States, Philippines, anyone can be a part of my campaign and help support alongside me as we raise awareness and we raise money for this.
And this is awareness in relation to the American Heart Foundation, right? And what does American Heart Foundation Association actually does?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, Don?
What does it actually get to achieve at the end of the day?
Yeah, so what does the American Heart Association do? So really what it does is a lot of sorts of things. So a lot of the certifications that I have for my job is actually authorized through the AHA, or the American Heart Association. So
Mm-hmm.
my CPR training, those types of things. They teach CPR classes. They have resources on their website about healthy eating, healthy diet, exercise, really about preventing heart disease. That's the biggest goal there, is preventing heart disease, which it's, this campaign is very personal for me for a lot of reasons. Heart disease runs on my side of the family. It's prevalent on my husband's side of the family, and it's very prevalent in Filipino culture, right? And so what can we do to help prevent it? Well, we can educate. Education, I feel like, is the backbone of almost everything these days. So what can we educate on, right? All sorts of things. And that's what my campaign will really teach you. Every single week, there will be very simple videos that not only will help boost me up to win this nationally, but also will help you to become more educated about heart disease and stroke and all the things that you can do in your daily life to prevent it. So.
In other words, Lexi, are you open into being invited as a resource person on discussions about heart heart condition and prevention of heart diseases, especially stroke, which is really prevalent from among the Filipino community, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very prevalent. And
Okay.
so, I would love to be a resource to try to educate as many people as possible, to really be a part of something bigger, right? The more that we can grow this community of educating, the more we can prevent heart deaths in women. And that's really what what my campaign's about. It's the Women of Impact campaign, because as
Ayun.
we know, women, especially with heart attacks, they don't present the same way in an emergency room as men do.
Ayan.
You know,
Ah, alam po ninyo mga kababayan ay sa madalit salita itong si Lexi ay kandidata no po sa being one of the women of impact. So, baka po you have an idea of inviting her to be a resource person dun sa kanyang advocacy in terms of prevention of heart diseases, maging sa stroke. Ano po? Alam po ninyo ngayon, ah, sa pagkukuha ng mga speakers, you can actually do via Zoom. And Lexi is able to do that. So again, Lexi, if people will be interested in having you as a speaker, how do they get in touch with you? Probably you can provide again to them your Facebook page and your Instagram page.
absolutely, absolutely. So again, it's just my first and last name, Lexy, and then Panaligan. And for Instagram, Facebook, and then the email shared above are all great contacts to get in contact with me.
Just remember po, ang kanyang email address ay leximeller@gmail.com. Let me spell it. It's LEXYMEHLER@gmail.com. So,
Yes.
yan po, to get in touch with Lexi. And again, invite her to any of your events, especially if you need resource person to talk about the, anything that will prevent heart diseases. Is there anything else na parang specialty mo, Lexi, is there any other special things that you may be able to talk about as a resource person other than?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, one of the big things with my campaign that I really wanted to, to try to advocate for is, right, again, it is a campaign. It's nationally, anyone across the world can join my campaign, help me donate. But this next week, in the next 7 days, every single dollar raised towards my campaign is going to be matched. It's double. So
Yeah.
those that go to my campaign, they donate $5, it turns into $10. $50 turns into 100. And so I'm really encouraging and welcoming any sort of donations this next week, because for the next week it's being doubled, which means your impact towards curing and preventing all these sort of diseases is doubled.
Mhm.
So that's something that I really wanted to encourage as well.
And then it will actually lead you to be one of those that will actually win eventually as a woman of impact. Is that correct?
I would be honored to win. Yes, yes,
Well, you
that would
should
be the
be.
goal. That would be
You
the
should
goal.
be.
That would be the goal.
Uh-huh. And I think you deserve it. And we call on the Filipino American community as well to help Lexi on her advocacy and helping out in the campaign to be the woman of impact. And I guess again, us being Filipinos, you know, uh, we are really one of the most affected community in terms of heart diseases.
Yes,
A lot of our friends have suffered stroke, anything that is related to heart. Although, uh, uh, I myself, I have APIL,
yes,
so so it is something that I actually join in a lot of like discussions because it is how shall I say this? I am a walking how should I say that? Uh, I'm a walking time bomb. They said because
oh man,
apparently because of my AFib.
yes.
Mhm.
AFib is it's actually the most common cardiac arrhythmia, or in simple terms, irregular heart rhythm. It's the most common one. Many people have it and live with
Uh-huh.
it, but most people who live with it every day, it's controlled. So their heart may always be an AFib, but it's in a controlled heart rate, right?
Uh-huh.
It's when it's in an abnormal heart rate or greater than 100 beats per minute, right? That's when you need to seek help from either, emergency room, your cardiologist, those types of things.
So before I let you go, we're almost done, Lexi. Again, give us your what's this? Your final campaign to become Woman of Impact of the Year. The floor is yours, Lexi.
Yes, yes. So thank you
And
again for having
how
me
people
tonight.
can actually donate and help you in your cause.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Don. And so again, this is a 9-week campaign. I have until April 9th to welcome in as many team members, as many donations as I can possibly get. I have a homepage actually that I shared with you, Don. I don't know if you're able to share that for me. But I have a picture with a QR code that will lead you to my homepage. I have the actual link as well. Um, you could search up my name online, Women of Impact with Lexi Panaligan, and that would probably come up as well. But it's important that you go directly through my homepage to donate. That way I get credit and that I can win to be the next Women of Impact winner.
And again, if you need to ask any question other than email, which is leximeller at gmail.com, you can actually even call Lexi. Do you have a work line or a line where actually doing? How do they get in touch with you as well?
Sure. I
Other
would
than
say so.
Facebook or Instagram.
I would say Instagram, which my Instagram is private, but if you request me, I can accept it. But my Facebook should be pretty public there. But definitely if you email me, I'm more than happy to give my phone number from that point, and we can keep in touch for sure.
Uh-huh. And then the QR code for the donation is on your Facebook page and your Instagram page. Is that correct?
It is. It is.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
It's on
Eh,
it's on my Facebook page and my Instagram, but my Instagram page is private. So if you
Okay.
search up my name online, Lexi Penaligan, and then Women of Impact campaign, that should come up there as well.
And then if I go into the Woman of Impact page, will I be able to find your name and then do a donation there as well?
You should be able to, yes. I can actually send it to you as well here, Don. I can send you
Sure.
the link
Uh-huh.
directly to my page. That way
Yeah.
you can have that.
Yeah. So that I can actually share it to some friends. And you know, Erlin will donate a big amount of money because she is a very rich person.
He's
Anyway,
he's very generous, yeah.
she is very generous and she's also very pretty. Any final words, Lexi, before you go?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. Salamat to all the Philippine viewers, all the United States viewers. Thank you for having me, and I hope to keep in touch with as many of you as possible.
And of course, the most important thing is uh, if you wish to donate to the Woman of Impact, look for the name Lexi Panaligan and help her win this because it is not only for her, it is also for the Filipino pride, you know. Again,
Yes.
it's a Woman of Impact and good luck on that one, Lexi.
Thank you, Don. I look forward to, working with as big of a community as I can to help spread awareness
Absolutely.
and, combat cardiovascular and stroke health.
Uh-huh. Anyway, yan po, nako, naka-boundary na naman tayo, no po? At naging bisita po natin si Miss Lexi Panaligan. Siya po ay isang BSN at RN dito po sa California. And of course, just like what you were saying earlier, you can actually donate at www.2.heart.org. Yan po yung site, ano? And look for her name and do a donation for her cause. Para lang sa ganon, makuha po niya yung pagiging Woman of Impact para sa taong 2026. Ayan. So thank you, Lexi Panaligan. At dyan po nagtatapos ang ating programa. At sa pangalan ng ating tech na si Jonas Pascual. Thank you, Jonas. Ako po si Don Orozco mula po rito sa Silicon Valley sa California. Bumabati sa inyo ng magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Thank you po.
Five decades of excellence in broadcast communication. EBC.